there is currently a war going on between the lolicons and the pred catchers, which is the weirdest war I've ever seen. Now, for those of you guys that don't understand what lolicon is or whatever, look it up your damn selves. But we're gonna look at the legal side of it, and I am actually going to go to YouTube because Gideon actually went at it with a lolicon protector. It was a live stream. Let's see here. I follow a lot of I follow Pred Hunters. I follow Skeeter Gene. Of course, my man up there, Chisels Adonis, which probably wants nothing to do with any of this. I don't blame him. It's a Gundam, which I've been subscribed to for a very, very long time. But you know what? Let's do Gideon Premium, and he has a 5-hour live stream. He actually dropped a Pred catch today, but this is it. Debating versus Lolicon Lover. It's a 5-hour live stream. The debate was crazy, and I was there for like part of it. I didn't get there towards the beginning of it, but Gideon went against some dude or went against somebody that was I guess this shit started on Twitch, not Twitch, yeah, Twitch, Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you want to call it now. And yeah, man, it's a 5-hour video. You know what, man? I'll just grab the link for it because we are not gonna watch a whole 5-hour fucking video
building, man.
of that.
Today is going
I actually have to plug in my damn headphones because where the hell is my headphones? Hold on. I rushed home from work after getting me some damn Chinese food, and I was like, yo, I know some shit's gonna go down. It's like two different. It's like two big prominent pred catchers are going at it against the lolicon community. And for those of you guys that don't know, the lolicon community, which is also under the umbrella of the anime community, they've been fighting and defending lolicon for fucking decades. So a war with them is like going to war with the entire anime community. But wait, hold on, let me backtrack a little bit of that. Not everybody in the anime community fucks with lolly, but a huge portion of it, a huge, like a large branch of it. Think of like the branches of the military. You got the Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, Marines, all that shit. You got all that shit going on, right? And think about anime. You got, people who love fighting anime, people who love different genres of anime, and then you got the lolicons who like, they like lolly, they like shotas and shit like that, and stuff like that. And I got this dude on.
He said to Jid, I just wanted to say I'm a huge fan, but please be wary of pred poachers.
We're not gonna watch this. It's just 5 hours long. If you want to watch that, like I say, I'm going to copy that link and then you can watch it in it. We're gonna watch a video of a response from Chibi Reviews. I had to subscribe to this man. I didn't even know this man existed. But him and Schlep, which is another big predator catcher, along with Gideon here, which is sitting at 5.15 million subscribers. Look, basically, Gideon basically was like, if you're a lolicon, it's associated with basically being a pedophile. That's essentially what it is. I ain't gonna censor shit because I'm a nobody. Nobody gives a fuck about my videos in the first place. This video that I'm posting today probably only get like 15 views at max, so I'm not worried about shit. Now we're gonna get off Gideon because Gideon went at it with another person, and you can watch that. It's like I say, it's 5 hours. I wouldn't recommend watching the entire 5 hours, but I watched like a good like 3 hours of it. So Schlep went at it with Chibi Reviews on Twitter/X, and we're gonna watch that because he just responded. So let's get straight to the video. I'm gonna go ahead and like mute my microphone here.
I want to catch a lot of heat for this video and probably receive hundreds of thousands of death threats for even making a video discussing lollies and even trying to defend lollies, but we're going to get right into it because I've already faced death threats, I've already faced slander, false accusations, people doxing me, sending me stuff in the mail, all sorts of horrific stuff for my stances on fictional content. So, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to bow down and bend the knee. I'm going to just straight up get into what needs to be said. And so this is a post that crossed my feed today by Real Schlep. Now, you might not know who this is, but there is a very high chance you do. This individual is someone that is very well known for being a PRED catcher. They are someone that makes their entire channel around catching predators on Roblox and different forms of the internet, as you can see here, and they have 2.4 million followers. So this is a pretty large channel that gets very decent views, as you can see here, 7.7 million views, 8 million views. Obviously, they are very successful as a content creator, someone that is way beyond my success. I am just a drop in the bucket in comparison to this individual that is making YouTube content. However, what really shocks me is that an individual that has their entire career based around being a predator catcher is someone that cannot separate fiction from reality. That is what really blew me away when I saw this post today, and the amount of damage that this post and this individual is going to cause to actual real people and victims out there and allow criminals to actually get away. He also responded to me twice before I even uploaded this video, and instead of even countering the points I made, he decided to go straight into slandering me, bringing up my personal life that's completely irrelevant to the topic at hand, and basically shifting the subject matter away from the topic to kind of muddy the waters and basically try to make my points seem kind of invalid when he's not even addressing my points to begin with. So I think more or less the case is closed, that this man right here actually doesn't care about victims and people. He's more or less just wanting brownie points, making a profit off of people, and that's about it. So this is pretty, it says a lot about his character, honestly, just seeing these type of posts from him. And so let's just get right into this. So first off, let's address the elephant in the room, which is what Schlep is talking about. He's talking about how lollies are basically, if you like lollies, you defend lollies, you're a PDF. That's what he is pretty much saying in this post. And what's very interesting about this post, by the
Okay, so I had to pause it there. We're going to finish this entire video, right? We're going to watch his entire response, and then I don't know if Schlep is going to make a response. I'm pretty sure Gideon and Schlep, no, Gideon's going to make a reaction to this video, and Schlep is probably going to make a whole video with his rebuttal. It's basically a little bit of YouTube beef going on. They also, well, Gideon tried to get Chibi Reviews to do a live stream, to come on and defend himself via live stream. But forget all that right now, okay? And I'm going to give my opinion about this at the end of the video, because I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen when the dust settles from this little internet LOLICONs versus PRED catchers war that seems to be going on. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen as a outsider looking in who really doesn't give two fucks about like LOLICONs or and stuff like that. Like, anyways, so let's look at the legality of this shit real quick. All right, so is LOLICON legal in the United States? The question of whether LOLICON is illegal in the United States is a complex one. LOLICON refers to explicit anime or manga depicting underage characters in sexualized scenarios. Now, here is the number one defense that people who defend lolly and LOLICONs and shit like that put up. Here's the first shield they put up. It's fictional characters. Let's continue reading it. For example, under the Protect Act of 2003, certain sexual depictions, including LOLICON, can meet the federal definition of child pornography if they are obscene. So, what that means is if you draw a, well, if you are, well, it gets further into it, but basically if it's seen as obscene, and of course a lolly's getting their cheeks destroyed by what appears to be a older person, then it's going to be seen as obscene. And I have to take this phone call real quick. I am currently recording a video. I will call you back later. Alright, so back to what I was talking about. Notably, however, not all LOLICON is illegal, because it often depends on whether the material is considered obscene. In legal terms, obscenity refers to material that appeals to interest in sex. I'm not gonna like try to even say that. Interest in sex is offensive and lacks serious literary artistic, political, or scientific value. Understanding this concept is crucial in determining the legality of LOLICON and how it is obtained or shared. And this is crazy, right? Because this right here, pay attention to shared, because that's big, okay? Now we're not gonna go into that, but we're gonna go into the LOLICON and U.S. federal laws. Lawmakers argue that LOLICON content contributes to sexualization of minors, which can reinforce harmful societal attitudes, and that it may encourage exploitive behaviors or desensitize viewers into exploitation of children. Now, what they mean is it can trigger something in somebody, like, oh man, this anime character seems to be really young, and then in that person's mind, if they're mentally unstable, which they usually are, they're like, oh, that's attractive, and they're attracted to shit like that. And it's a chain reaction, basically. It goes from fictional characters to, I'm going to clap this 7-year-old girl's cheeks forcefully. All right, and I'm just saying as an example. So, to address these issues, federal law has evolved the terms like child sexual abuse materials, CSAM, emphasizing the abuse of exploitative nature such as content regardless of whether real minors are depicted. So, the argue from LOLICONs is it's a fictional character. Alright, so we're going to read some more. For instance, possessing lolly is illegal under federal law if the anime depiction of an underage person is obscene. Now, for those of you guys who haven't surfed or been online or haven't been to the darkest parts of the web, you will notice that some of the lolly material now is getting disclaimers saying all persons in this video or whatever it may be is depicted as 18 years or older. You're starting to see that now. This is why. Because it's, and I hate to be the one to say this, it's depicted as basically child pornography. If they look like a character, if they look like, not a character, if the character looks like a child and acts like a child, it's basically essentially a fucking child. I know you heard the saying, if it looks like a duck, acts like a duck, swims like a duck, shit's a fucking duck. Alright? Now, the simple possession of lolly is not illegal under federal laws unless you possess a large amount of lolly, which prosecutors can allege that you had the intent to sell or distribute it. Intent to distribute refers to intentions of transferring or delivering material to others, whether for profit or not. This is a serious offense. That's crazy. States and countries have taken different approaches to address lolly materials and manga. Now in Japan, it's just completely, it's a part of their culture. It is completely legal. They see no problems with it because the backstory of a lolly is typically, they are hundreds or thousands of years of age. What, I forgot what anime, what was the anime? My Annoying Senpai or whatever. That's that the character looks like a lolly, but it's a full-grown female that works in an office setting. All right? Like, it's crazy, bro. So, what are specific federal laws? Protect Act 2003, the Child Pornography Statutes, and then the Child Pornography Prevention Act of 1996, obscene visual representations of sexual abuse, related California penal law. So, California is a little bit different. Notably, California child porn laws do not explicitly define lolly or manga depicting minors engaging in sexual activity, but it's considered possession of child pornography. Child porn is defined as obscene material that depicts minors under 18 engaging or simulating sexual conduct. Now, yes, you can argue it's fictional characters, but if the character looks like a child and is engaging in sexual activity, the law says it's child pornography. It's CP. cheese pizza, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's child pornography, all right? Straight up. That's what the law says. That's what the law in the U.S. says. But here's why there's a war. It's because basically what Gideon, a big PRED catcher, and Schlepp says is LOLICON is pedophilia. It's basically saying if you like lollies, you are a pedophile, which I'm going to have to disagree and say that not everybody who not everybody is into that. There's different branches of LOLICON. There is the light side, which is the more wholesome side of it, and then there's the dark side, which you shouldn't be on that side. And then you have to look at the mentality of the individuals who consume it. Just because a pedophile, an actual child predator, get caught with like fucking a lolly getting her cheeks destroyed, doesn't mean that all people who consume lolly material is on the same level as that. But again, every individual has their own way of thinking. So yeah, so let's get back into the video.
By the way, with him trying to compare the two of fictional content that's a drawing on a piece of paper or an animated pixel, he actually edited his post here, which Packer Girl showcases a screenshot, and I'll showcase this as legit in a second, but basically you can see his original post here, you know, he actually has anime in front of it, showcasing what he's actually talking about. Then he quickly edited his post to remove it to make it seem more extreme than it actually is, and I don't think I need to really explain why this is bad, but it obviously is very disingenuous in trying to basically make a molehill into a mountain, or trying to make something look worse than it actually is, pretty much saying that basically nobody would care if it was a drawing. But the fact that he removed that wording of anime from it, it makes people tune in more to what he's saying and believe what he's saying is actually talking about real victims and real people that are actually getting harmed. And to showcase that this tweet actually has been edited, by the way, here it is, the actual post here, as you can see, getting community noted, by the way. And if you go here to last edit, you click on this right here, you will see his original post at the bottom here. This is a legitimate post he made that he edited out anime. He changed nothing else with it besides removing anime from the actual wording to basically make the post look way worse than it actually is. So this is actually insane. And this gets into the topic of what I just talked about, that it's really horrible that someone that dedicates their entire career and like presence online to actually go after criminals would actually compare a drawing to actually real victims. That's what's so disrespectful. And let me explain why this is a problem. So, first off, you are a police officer in, you know, the office at the county sheriff office or whatever, and you only have a certain amount of officers. Let's say there's 30 or 50 officers within the police office. You receive a call that apparently someone is harming someone, and you take this call, you take it very seriously because it's your job. So you go and investigate, and when you go and investigate whatever's going on, you come to find out it's actually just a drawing. It's a pixel on the screen. It's nothing. There's nobody being hurt, no victims, nothing. It is just entirely a drawing on the screen. And I don't think I really need to outline why this is a problem, but all this does is it stalls police from being able to actually catch real criminals and help.
Here's the problem with that, though. Here's the legal problem with that. First off, if a officer responds to something like lolly porn, all right, and it all depends on. Well, it all depends on who reported you and how you got caught. Usually it's because you were trying to distribute it. There's legal shit involved with that. I kind of understand I know what he means. He means like saying, I don't know, man. Like people who defend LOLICON shit, I can't really, cause I don't really dabble in shit like that. So I can't speak for it. But I also can't truly speak against it because I understand that he means, okay, it's a fictional character and what police need to do and go after real predators. I guess that's what he means, right? I assume that's exactly what he means. He means like people should be going after real predators, not people who indulge in LOLICON. And like I said it earlier, it depends on what side of the spectrum you're on when it comes to being a LOLICON. Are you on a light side, where it's wholesome, and everything is, you know, the lollies are dressed up, they're of age, well, they're drawn, you know, small, and everything is wholesome? Or are you on that other side where shit's getting destroyed? You know what I mean? Like, it depends on what side of the spectrum you're on.
Help victims be able to recover. It really just actually overloads the system, and it causes a limited amount of resources to be used for false calls. That's pretty much what happens in this case with people that can't separate fiction from reality. And so the fact that you have someone like Schlepp that his entire career is to try to bring people to justice, willing to water down a term and actually cause it to be harder to catch real PDFs, is actually insane to me. Now, I do want to talk about something that does need to be acknowledged, and that is lolly in general. Now, look, I'm just gonna outright say it. If you find lollies and stuff weird, completely fine. I think there is nothing wrong with someone thinking it's weird, bizarre, whatever. You don't want to associate with people like that. Fine. That's completely fine. It's well within your right to do that. However, you cross a line when you start calling people accusations that aren't true. For instance, you calling them a PDF, or you start comparing a drawing or a pixel to an actual living.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. When you associate pedophiles with people who are lolicons, it usually goes hand in hand. It usually, like I said it earlier, it's a domino effect. It starts at consuming certain material depicting a child getting clapped by somebody who's way older than them, and then it goes from there. It's the mentality of the person who's consuming it. Yes, he is correct. Not all people who like lollies are pedophiles outright. But it's a mentality thing. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you argue it, and no one knows what's in your mind but you. Now back to the video.
Breathing human. There is a very hard line there that is crossed when someone does that. And all it does is water things down and makes the entire conversation very muddy, to where now when you have a conversation around stuff like this, like if someone's a PDF or not, what it comes down to is like, are they talking about a real person or are they talking about a drawing? And when you have something like this brought up into a conversation, it's already bad. And it's happening. It is something that has definitely grown exponentially in the last like 5 to 6 years, to where the conversation around this entire topic has been muddied and just tampered with, to the point to where people don't take it as seriously anymore, because people cannot separate fiction from reality, and all they have done is actually help criminals get away with stuff. And in fact, most of the time when people are this adamant about lolly content that are basically saying it is the equivalent of actual real people, most of the time, from what I have seen, they turn out to be some form of, like, a problem or a criminal themselves, or they have skeletons in the closet. Something is going on.
And that's where he fucked up. That sentence right there. That right there. That shit insinuating that, oh, you know, you said you can't determine, you can't, you know, tell fiction from reality, what kind of skeletons you're hiding. That right there, and that's why they're at war. That right there. Look, man, I'm gonna put it to you like this. And I'm tired of saying the same thing. When you consume shit like that, it can inspire you to go and do the shit in real life. It can influence you. Why? I don't know, because I don't know how people think. I'm not a fucking psychiatric person. I'm not a fucking person that deals with mental shit. But it starts at a baseline level, and then it can escalate. Okay, I'm eating my Chinese food, so I apologize for that. I'm chewing and shit
on there, and I feel like it's absolutely insane. Like, this is really, I feel like Schlepp should be really ashamed of himself for even making a post like this. Once again, if he wanted to call lollies and stuff weird, that's fine, nothing wrong with that, that is completely fine. But to go this far, and then even to change his actual message to remove anime from it because he knows people don't take that seriously because it's not real, because it's not something to take seriously, that's just insane. And once again, you know what this makes me look at, his entire channel? It makes me look at, it's not about actually bringing justice to people to catch actual criminals. It's about making a profit and making money off of it. And look, yeah, how can you not view it like that? Like, this person clearly doesn't potentially care about children if he's willing to water down terms to this degree. That's what it looks like. It's not a good look. It's not. And I feel like this is just such a shameful thing to do.
Okay, here we go with this shit. So, his argument is to water down terms to make a profit or whatever, game views or whatever. There are people out there that are really trying to get these predators off the streets. If you didn't know, look in our White House. I believe people are saying that a pedophile is currently running the United States of America. So, you have people out here who are actually risking their asses trying to get these pedophiles, trying to keep children safe. And of course they're going to make money off of it. If I could, I would too. But I don't like YouTube. And I don't feel like, because me, I'd get so angry if I catch a predator that I probably would go to jail with a murder charge. There won't be any confrontation as, oh, well, in the chat log, you said that you want to shove your inside her and then you want to finish inside of her. She is 12 years old. No, it'll be clack, clack, boom, boom. And then I'm going to prison. It'll be straight up that. So, I mean, like I say, this shit's crazy, bro. Like, I'm gonna tell you exactly how this war's gonna end too. I'm gonna tell you exactly how it's gonna end. This food is fucking bomb.
I cannot believe he actually did this. Now, with that being said, I will say, I will always have the stance to protect fictional content. I have been very adamant about this for a very long time, and no amount of death threats, doxings, people trying to scare me off the internet, slandering my name, false accusations, whatever, nothing along that lines is going to make me stop talking about what I believe in and how people have a right to express themselves in art and also within literature. And basically, if people are going this hard after, let's say, lolly content, why aren't they going hard after Game of Thrones? There's some very crazy stuff within Game of Thrones' books, by the way, that have actual characters that are technically not 18 plus within it. But for some reason, that is completely fine because you want to know why? It's popular. It's a big series. People accept it. But obviously now with anime reaching a new norm and people kind of encountering anime for the first time, and the main go-to voice now is to say anything that isn't mainstream shonen, like for instance Chainsaw Man or JJK, everything's icky or weird and needs to be gone, censored, and it's problematic. We could see this. There's a big shift. And there's a lot of hypocrisy. There's a lot of people only playing one side and not understanding, and they're picking and choosing what's a problem or not because they just don't like it. And at the end of the day, they don't really care about actual victims or people getting harmed. They're all in it for a profit or being able to make brownie points and clout and everything about that. That's basically what they're doing. And I'm just going to say it like it is, guys. I would make a lot more money and I would have a lot more sponsorships if I straight up just said lolly is bad. I would. I'm just going to be blunt. I would make so much more money and I would be I would be deemed less problematic to work with or anyone to talk with me if I just straight up went against it. But I won't, because I'm willing to separate and I see the difference between fiction and reality. I know there's a big difference. And trying to say they're the same hurts real people. And I feel like that is so horrible to do to people, actual people that have went through stuff. So, long story short, I'm probably going to get mass hate for this video. Oh, I know I'm going to get mass hate. But it is what it is. It's something I've already dealt with before. I can take it, I guess, at this point, but just needs to be said. I could not believe what I actually saw here. But, thank you so much for watching. May all of you have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.
And there we have it. I wanted to pause when he, at that last moment there, and say something, but fuck it. I'm like, my food is too good, and I'm eating dinner and shit right now, and this shit's kind of stupid anyways. So let's talk about the results of this war, cause I'm going to literally tell you how it's going to end when the dust settles. Here's what's gonna happen. Pred catchers are going to probably continue to do what they always will do: catch Preds. And when they do catch a Pred that happens to have lolly pornography, they are going to take jabs at the anime community, or more than likely the LOLICON community. And the LOLICON community is going to continue indulging in their LOLICON shit and their lolly shit and keep it pushing. The laws about LOLICON and shit like that has already been established for years, and it is what it is at this point in time. But it's not going to stop people from consuming it, and it's not going to stop it from being produced. It's still going to be produced because it's the norm in Japan. Their culture don't see an issue with it. Other cultures may see an issue with it, and that's exactly what it is. Now, the whole argument here of, well, people don't know how to discern fiction from reality, it's true and it's false. It's kind of hard for me to really say that. It's true because understand that anime is not real, fictional characters, but the problem is the depiction of it. That's the problem. That's the number one problem of it, is the depiction of it. And this is why you usually see a backstory. You usually see a backstory as to, okay, how old is this character? Some lolly anime will give you the backstory saying, hey, character is 18 years old, or 1,500 or 2 million years old, while some anime won't give you any type of backstory on why this character looks like a child. They just assume, oh, that's a lolly, apparently that is a child. And I guess that's where this all lies, in the depiction of it. But again, when the dust settles, it's going to be Pred catchers going back out catching Preds, and lolicons enjoying their lolly content at the end of the day. You could say lolly bad all you want, but it's a thing. It's always going to be there. But the problem that I have is, don't associate that shit with everybody. Don't group in people who like lollies as pedophiles, because there are a lot of people who like wholesome lolly related shit, and they're not pedophiles at all. So I guess that's what the argument here is. And I would have to say, just don't call everybody who likes lolly related shit pedophiles. But don't sit here and defend lolly shit and say, well, it's not child porn, they're not children. Well, the person who created it, only they know. And if they didn't give a backstory saying, hey, this character is... Okay, let me give a good example. If you ever played Terra Online, Terra Online, the original PC version, the Ellens were known as the lollies. And according to lore, the Ellens are hundreds of years old. And according to a lot of people, the Ellen was the thing that saved Terra from bombing early on because of the lolly like nature and the way that they were drawn. They were drawn flat-chested, really short, and given a lot of overly sexualized outfits. But they were hundreds of years old. And I remember people being called pedophiles for playing on an Ellen. And the Ellens statistically had better iframes and faster attack animations. That's why a lot of people played on them. And there were some creepy motherfuckers that played on them because they were lolly characters. Let's talk about PSO2 NGS. They had to lock the height because people were creating lolly-like characters. To this very day, you can still create a lolly-like character on PSO2 NGS. You can still make your character really, really short and flat-chested and look like a lolly to this very goddamn day. Are we going to call those gamers who play PSO2 NGS pedophiles? Do we know those gamers personally? Do we know what's on their hard drives? No. Not everybody is a pedophile because they consume certain or they like certain things. But in terms of like actual like anime characters that are children and are like, you know, engaging in sexual acts, yeah, that shit's a bit that's not a bit. That shit's, yeah, bro. That's exactly what it is. All right, man. I'm done. I gotta go make a fucking thumbnail for this video and a whole bunch of other shit. So, yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna finish my damn dinner.